We stay on the topic of digitalization. So there's really interesting presentations and really good sessions across different materials, coming from niobium, ferroniobium, lithium, covering now also refractories. And one metal has been missing so far in this group, and that's aluminium, or aluminum, depending on which side of the Atlantic you would be from. So our next speaker is Thomas Schöler, Digital Commercial Lead at Norsk Hydro, one of the world's leading aluminium producers and also one of the world's leading low-carbon aluminium producers. Headquartered in Norway, Hydro has been long at the forefront of sustainability, integrating sustainability really in its business model, and I would say also driving the sustainability movement in the aluminium industry in a very active way. So I'm very excited to hear about Hydro's journey to a digital and sustainable future, and please give a very warm welcome to Thomas.
Thank you. First and foremost, Ricardo stole my joke. So I was going to talk about buzzwords. That's not going to happen again. Then I will start with a second joke. The only people that ever call me Thomas are my mother and my wife when they're mad at me, so please call me Tom. When I was asked to give a presentation on sustainability and digitization, I was thinking about the bracket to fill this. And I came up with all these buzzwords as well of, AI and machine learning and all this stuff. But I thought I'd start with a personal story, because I think the bracket that puts digitization and sustainability together is change management, because essentially you are changed the way of working, you changed the way of selling, so you need to make sure that the people you work with understand and appreciate what you're doing. And as you didn't see from my very big title as well, I'm also responsible for change management at Hydro. I like change. I like it when things change, and I like new ways of working and looking at things. Unless, of course, it affects myself. And as you can see on the right, it's a hotel door of a hotel that me and my family go to quite a lot. I have 2 kids, and when we go there, the kids have their own hotel room. Perfect. Huh? So my wife and I get some privacy, and this hotel still has some old-fashioned keys. So the kids were able to run around the hotel, leave the door open, and we could check at night whether they're there or not, and everything was fine. And then at the beginning of this year, they changed to electric cars. Not a huge change, totally understandable for the hotel guy to do it, but for us, bad. Because all of a sudden, the kids lost the keys or the cards everywhere, and for us it was difficult to trace them. We couldn't walk in at night. So when we think about change management, I think it's very important to have in mind that it also, it might affect people that you haven't thought about. And, it's difficult because they might have a reason that they don't like the change. So it's important to think about that. So a little bit to Norsk Hydro, because it's, of course, also a commercial platform here to tell about my company and how good they are. We have 32,000 employees in over 140 locations. And for me, the most important part of this is the revenue. It's 203 billion NOK. I don't know if anyone can translate this into euros, but with my, let's say, limited knowledge of maths, it's roughly 20 billion euros. So quite impressive results we do. And how do we do this? We do everything from mining to selling the product and following it around, or also with a huge energy sector. So we also produce clean energy, and then we can, throughout the whole value chain of producing aluminium, be very sustainable, and that's why we are so much ahead, or so far ahead in the sustainable game at aluminium. So what is important to us? We don't want to only decarbonize the product. We also look for social equality, and we want to take responsibility. Responsibility not only for the products we produce, but also for the environment and for the people that work for us. And I think this is one of the most important slides that I have, because this is, we talk about carbon footprints. And if you look about Hydro Circal, we can produce aluminium with a CO2 footprint of 0.4 kilograms per ton. Whereas if you look at Chinese material, the average in China is 19 kilograms. So for me, this is like an easy USP selling point. And talking about change management, this is what we need to teach our salespeople, that when they go to companies, and we talk about, we don't want to talk about the margin too much or about the price. We want to talk about this, because this is important. This is not only important to us, this is also important to our customers. When we go to Mercedes, they have a strategy in place. When we go to IKEA, they have a strategy in place. So we need to make sure that this is what we talk about. So the strategy in a nutshell is we start at the energy transition. As we said, we do a lot of clean energy in Norway, but also in our plants, we have solar panels everywhere, so we try to create our own energy at the plants. We want to decarbonize the industries by offering greener materials. And then, of course, we want to accelerate the circular economy by, for example, going to our customers and say we take the aluminium back after the product is out of use. So, for example, with Mercedes or with Porsche, we have deals of taking old cars back, taking out the aluminium, recycle it again, and then sell it back to them. I like this slide because, when people look at it and we say nothing is possible, sounds like a German company, but for us, nothing is possible means that net zero emission is possible. And we are very, very much dedicated to making this happen, and not only in recycling, but also in capturing, and then, in cleaner energy as well. So, as a good German, I have some cars. We partner with Porsche and Mercedes. Unfortunately, my company car isn't a Porsche yet, but I'm still working on that. Maybe it's possible in the future. But as you can see, we do big projects with these big companies because net zero is important to them. So it's not about sort of a old relationship of you provide a material to a customer, but it's about partnering and finding a way of producing a story together as well. Because obviously this story can not only help us, it also helps the car companies to fulfill their needs in the environmental policy. And now I know this is a bit of a risk, but I was thinking about now how can I come from the sustainable part to the digital part. And for all of this stuff, so transparency of footprints, products, etc., you need to have a good database. And I know this is really boring, but data is king. We need good data quality to be able to provide our customers with sustainable information that are actually true. Because obviously, if we say we are 100% traceable, we need to make sure that when you scan a code, you come to the right product, and it's actually a right information. So this is our commercial digital transformation strategy for 2025, and I won't bore you with it, don't worry. But what we are mainly doing at the moment is data structure and quality. So, because what we found out is, at Hydro, we have, at Extrusion Europe, the business unit I work in, we have 36 plants in Europe with 8 different ERP systems. So the information coming from these 8 different ERP systems go to a middleware, and the information there is, let's say, a little shaky. So we have to make sure that we work on the right data structure first. And I can only stress this, it's really boring and no one wants to do it, but it has to be done. If you don't do it, then all your future buzzword digital topics will not work. And another thing that we do, and I will talk about this project a little bit now, is we do digital order intake. Another thing that's not very fancy, but we have nearly 800,000 order lines at Extrusion Europe every year. 800,000 order lines that are typed in manually by back office people. Not very sales efficient time. So we looked into an AI tool that could help us with that. But, you know, AI, smart pricing, smart ordering. If you want to do that in Germany, you have to think about the unions. Don't know what it's like in the countries you work in, but in Germany, the unions are very powerful. And with digital tools, it's very, very difficult to convince them that what you want to do is the right way forward. So implementing this tool, usual implementation time in these 36 plants around Europe is, let's say, 6 months. In Germany, it took 18 months to get a contract signed with our Betriebsrat, so our union. So that's also a bit of a setback that you have to consider. And then just a few slides on AI. Don't worry, it's just because I like AI and I think it's fun to work with. We are exposed to AI on a daily basis, and it's not as new as people think, because if you look at YouTube, YouTube has an algorithm that tells you, you know, that understands your interest and suggests a video of interest to you. And also Amazon, if you go to Amazon and you want to buy a baseball bat, Amazon is very clever and it suggests what's next to buy. So maybe like a glove or a ball, or of course, a mask so you can go and rob someone. So you're being tempted by all different companies for AI. So either to see more ads so they generate money, or to buy more products so that they generate more money. Or at Hydro, order intake to actually do some sales efficient time and let our salespeople, you know, go to the customer and sell our material rather than typing in orders. And as I said, 800,000 order lines per year, 5 minutes per order line. That's 400 million minutes. That's 67,000 hours. So that's 32 people all year, all day, typing in orders. So for me, you know, an easy business case to look at and to go ahead with. And I mean, that's our plan up there. So easy, right? Implement it. But you know, all the change management aspects came in. We saw some troubles that I don't even want to get into too much detail in, but it's ridiculous. You know, it started with Betriebsrat, then it's security. IT security says we are not allowed to let any other people onto our servers, so that's very difficult to exchange data if they're not allowed to access our servers or our ERP systems. So essentially what I'm trying to bring across is, if you want to do digitization or sustainability, think about the people you work with, think about the people that are involved in this topic, and then think about the data. Data is key. It's important that your data is right, and it's important that your data is in place, and don't give up, because you know, every project, I think that's a very normal project sort of idea. You have a plan, and then once you start executing the plan, things will go wrong. So, you know, keep smiling and keep happy. And this, by the way, is an AI picture. So this is ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to come up with a great slogan, how change management is easy unless it affects me. And so I thought I'd finish with a great AI story. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Thank you. Maybe I was a little fast, huh?
Perfect on time. I think I have to apologize. I made a mistake, I realized.
No problem.
I'm neither your mother, nor am I angry at you. And I called you Thomas. So thank you, Tom, for this very interesting and fun presentation. And let's open it up for some questions from the audience. I'm sure there will be some questions for you as well. Yeah, Javier.
Hi, Tom. Can you expand on you mentioned data quality as a big challenge or something really key. How can you improve?
So what we are doing at the moment is we are setting up a team of, because as I try to describe our IT landscape. We have 36 plants, 8 different ERP systems, and then a lot of different softwares or technologies in the middle before you come to the front end. And the problem is that people can cheat the system. So, for example, when we go into controlling figures, they can alterate their results a little bit so that they look better in the fiscal year. But it means that we have no means of comparison, for example. So we need to make sure that we say a spread is always as follows. You have the material price, then you have margin, and then you have some upcharges, and that's the price, and that's the same for every business unit within our company. And as this isn't in place at the moment, we have no real chance to compare the results from plant A to plant B. And so we have started a project with IT people, controlling people, but also salespeople, where we define basic business rules, so to say. So we describe a KPI, and then people have to follow that KPI. And we have controlling mechanisms at the end that check whether people stick to those rules. But that's going to be like a 2-year project. We've only just started it. And once you start digging,
Right, Tom. Some more questions came in here from the audience. Maybe we start from top left. Where is your company still lagging behind in digitalization? What is too tough to change?
I mean, as we are in the metal industry here, I think we're not so far behind. But I mean, if you compare us to, I don't know, like startup companies, we are in the Middle Ages at most ends. That's something like digital order intakes gets you on stage at an event like here. So we still have a long way to go, because the people we work with are usually not like digital natives. So we have to make sure that we get we start with projects where people understand and see a value for themselves. So I mean, the simple answer is we still have a long way to go in many ways. At the moment, I'm only responsible for sales, so just to answer this procurement aspect of this as well. So I haven't looked at procurement yet, but I will from next week onward look at that as well. So yeah.
Okay, maybe one more question. What about AI? So do you think of AI agents for doing back office tasks? Is it really the future, or is it just another toy? How do you think about the topic?
Well, as I tried to say during my presentation, I think AI is very, very useful if you use it for the right things. So digital order intake, for example, you have a piece of paper, and the AI scans it to see which information goes where in your system. So that is useful AI. Also, chat with your own data. I don't know if anyone of you is aware of that concept, where you can ask, the information that's gathered in your company for help, and that is also an AI tool that's very, very useful. So I think AI is going to have a very huge impact on the way we work. But as I said at the beginning, I like change, so I like to work with AI as well, and I think AI is very useful for most companies.
Maybe one more question from Doctor, and then we need to wrap it up.
Thanks for your presentation again. I have a brief question. So do you have a customer-facing angle to your digital transformation at Norsk Hydro? Do you have any ways that they're going to benefit from this transformation that you're having at the Norsk Hydro?
Well, the honest answer to this is our customer is always in the center of everything we do. So we go, maybe not with the digital order intake, we didn't ask them for that, but with everything else, we go to the customer and we pitch our ideas and say, what do you think? Is that going to add value to what you do? Because otherwise, we had this whole buzzword discussion earlier, but I mean, digitizing your processes for the sake of digitization makes no sense. You need to have a business case behind it, and the business case usually comes from your customer. So it's very important to put the customer in the center of all your doings.
Sorry, I was thinking about more like a customer portal or something like that.
Oh, sorry, customer. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yes, well, in my old job, I used to work in the steel industry, and I was responsible for e-commerce there, and we did like a platform there. And we had this great idea of doing a customer portal so the customer can go and type in its own order. Guess what? The customer didn't want to type in their own order. They said, that's your job. You know, we won't pay you to do your job. So I am, you know, from experience, I'm not the greatest fan of customer portals, even though when you add value to this, like you can, we have like a traceability tool now. So a bit like when my wife orders something on Amazon, she can check online where the material is or where the package is. We can do that at Hydro now as well, and that's, you know, customers really like that. And if that's what you call a customer portal, then that's great. And we do that, and we have that.
Thank you very much, Tom. A very inspiring presentation, and